the middle of the century that were common practice. In fact, it was common for doctors to recommend that you smoke Camel. If you had a bad cough, doctors would often recommend that you start smoking to take care of the cough. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? I didn't make that up. This is a good one. Philip Morris says, we don't claim to cure anything with our cigarettes, but announce the prevention for the pound of the cure, so you might as well just smoke to be safe. This is Motorola. Motorola, I'm not going to read this to you here, but it basically says here that you'll have better behavior and better marks in school if your children watch a lot of TV. Has anyone seen TV recently? It will rot your brain out, right? There's nothing really good on TV. The Bayer pharmaceutical company, everybody knows Bayer aspirin? Yeah. Made most of their money selling heroin. I'm not joking. Don't call them, they no longer have it. I tried to get some, they no longer have it. Okay? They sold quite a bit of heroin. In fact, in the late 1800s, if your children had a toothache, you could buy cocaine tooth drops. Right? Wow. I also called this number. They are out of business, okay? You can't believe it. This is one of my favorite ones. This is from Marlboro, and it says here, just one question, Mom. Can you afford not to smoke? Now, this was common practice right in the middle of the century. I mean, common practice. This is what I'm going to read to you, because this one is absolutely amazing. It says, for a better start in life, start cola earlier. How soon is too soon? Not soon enough. Laboratory tests. Over the last few years have proven that babies who start drinking soda during the early formative period have a much higher chance of gaining acceptance and fitting in during those awkward preteen and teen years. So do yourself a favor, my favorite line, do your child a favor. Start them on a strict regime of sodas and other sugary carbonated beverages right now for a lifetime of guaranteed happiness. Now, does anyone in the room believe that's true? Probably not, right? By the way, who says this is true? The Soda Pop Board of America. This is one of my favorite ones. The Lard Council of America wants you to know that these people are happy because they eat lard. You know what lard is? Buckets of fat.
Yeah.
I don't think that would make you happy. Right? As crazy as we think those are, we don't think for 10 seconds about, now this is for you ladies, so it was hard to Photoshop his head on my body, but I got it. But we don't think anything when the Dairy Council runs an ad today saying what? That milk does the body good? That it gives you strong bones? Now, I'm not here to beat up the Dairy Council of America, but I'm here to tell you unequivocally that drinking milk, store-bought milk off the shelves will not give you big bones or do your body good. Now, if you were to do a bone density study on someone who was raised on a dairy farm, where I live out in Pennsylvania, you drive about an hour or so away, there's a lot of dairy farms. And some of those people, when they get their milk in the morning, they take a bucket out to the barn and they get fresh milk. That's a live culture with enzymes in it. And if you drink that all your life, your bone density will be almost a third thicker than someone who drinks regular homogenized pasteurized milk. In fact, the Dairy Council was sued for over $200 million just for that advertising campaign alone. See, the truth is most people are interested, they want the cure of the Band-Aid, right? Most people would say, listen, I want to do whatever I have to do and do whatever I want to do. Is there a pill that can undo it? I don't want to eat well, I don't want to exercise, I want to eat poorly, and can I take a vitamin there's no vitamin that will undo all the bad choices we make, right? So we're going to have to learn to make some better choices. This is a panel for Prevacid. Does anybody know what Prevacid is? What's Prevacid, Trina? What's Prevacid commonly prescribed for? Heartburn. Right? For heartburn. Anybody ever suffer from heartburn in the room? Yeah, it can be painful. One guy. Amazing. Right? Well, let me should move on. If you take this is actually for Lipitor. I apologize. Prevacid's coming up. This is for Lipitor. What's Lipitor commonly prescribed for? For lower cholesterol. Right? Get rid of help minimize cholesterol. It says that if you take this, you may also suffer from, because of this possible side effect, gas, stomach pains, diarrhea, constipation, heartburn, headache, blurred vision, dizziness, rash or itching. Now listen, I'm not here to tell you tonight that cholesterol is good. Cholesterol in itself isn't bad. It's how your body repairs its blood cells and blood vessels. But too much of it can become a problem, right? We can talk about that. But I am here to tell you that the answer isn't all these other things that can go wrong for you. I talked about Prevacid a few seconds ago. Heartburn can be very, very painful. I highlighted just a couple of things in red that I thought raised attention. If you take Prevacid, in addition to diarrhea, abdominal pain, nausea, you may also get breast development in males. Now, depending on your life, if I'm a single guy, that might be a good thing for me. I can stay home and enjoy myself. Diabetes, ear disorders, hallucinations, heart disorders. This does not say importance. You're not important. Okay? Inflammation of the esophagus and mouth, tongue disorders, bladder spasms. Hold on. Rectal hemorrhage.
Oh my God.
How many people, given the choice, would choose A, rectal hemorrhage, or B, heartburn? You gotta have one of the two. Which are you taking? How many taking A?
Heartburn.
How many taking B? Yeah, I'd rather have the heartburn. I picture myself on a Saturday night. Maybe I light a fire, which you probably don't do in California because it's warm here. I get a nice glass of wine. Perhaps I start touching my newly developed breast. Whoops, rectal hemorrhage. The party's over. Okay. Oh, by the way, hemorrhage, stroke, tumor. There's got to be a better answer. Centrum for women. Sometimes I'll carry the bottle of Centrum with me. Centrum, if you've ever seen a Centrum for women, anyone ever taken that? It's okay to say yes. Many of us did before, right? Here's the interesting thing about Centrum for women. If you open the bottle, the pills, the capsules are this pretty little purple, pink, lavender color. Now, how many people in the room think that when the company that makes this particular product put all the ingredients in a bowl and made the pill, that it just ended up being the right color? Or, don't answer yet, they had 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 women in a study group. They showed them color swatches of their favorite color. And it turns out, ladies, that universally, your favorite color is a light purple, pink, kind of lavender. How many people think it was A, just happened by chance? How many people think it was B, they made it that way? Or it was B. You're allowed to raise your hand, okay? We'll know the answer. But in order to make it that pretty color, they've got to add some things like blue number 2, red number 40, yellow number 6. Ladies, women in the audience, hoping, assuming that you go to your doctor or OBGYN at least once a year or two, has anyone in the room, any of the women in the room, ever had your doctor or gynecologist come in the room and say, I've got terrible news. Your blue 6 levels are really low. Your red 40 is really low. We're going to have to get you... Has that ever happened? Anyone? Has anyone been diagnosed with a deficiency of modified cornstarch? Anybody know what talc is? What is talc? It's powder. Why would you need powder in your multivitamin? You know? So why do they put it in there? Well, a binder, yeah, but they also put it in there to make it bigger, because in America, we like things supersized, piggy size, valley size, right? We don't think you can get, give me the double animal size, right? There's no sense of doing it small. See, in our country, people are fed by the food industry, which pays no attention to health, and we're treated by a health industry which pays little or no attention to food. I will say this to you, that if you're not going to be the guardian of your body, no one else is going to do it for you. If your hope is that McDonald's is going to make good decisions for you and put them on the dollar menu, they are not. They're going to make the cheapest food possible and put it on the dollar menu, and so be it if you decide to eat that. Am I anti-McDonald's? Of course I'm not. I would eat there. This is a picture that is over 2 years old.
Ew.
Of a hamburger and french fries from 4 of the major chains. Now, how many mommies and daddies do we have in the room? People with kids. We got a bunch of them, right? Now, you know this is true because there's been a time when you've been cleaning out the minivan and under the seat you found a french fry and it looks brand new and you're like, right, a little hungry, you're thinking maybe mold? Shouldn't meat, if there was any, get moldy? Shouldn't the French fries turn? How come they don't? Well, because there's more preservatives in that than there is food. And so I would encourage you to make wise choices when you put stuff into your mouth. See, no specific constituent of the diet is solely responsible for the emergence of chronic disease, but the overall quality of the diet, including supplementation, is paramount to prevention. In layman's terms, if we're going to keep eating what we're eating, we better supplement. Let me give you this in layman's terms for a second. My grandfather was born in 1900. He lived to be 91 years old. He died in 1991. And I believe that when my grandfather, as a child or a young adult, ate a carrot, he was getting an awful lot of beta-carotene from that carrot because in 1910, 1920, the soil wasn't depleted. Right? The government pays our farmers to fortify the soil genes with NPK, nitrogen, potassium, and sodium. But you leach out a lot more than that. We used to grow all our crops in the floodplains. We don't do that anymore. We grow them in the San Joaquin Valley, right? We grow them wherever we can irrigate. We grow them in the desert. They are depleted from nutrients. Depleted. So my grandfather, if he ate well, probably would have lived, as he did, a healthy 91 years. His daughter, my mother, when she was a child, the soils were already vastly depleted. So if my mom was eating carrots, she probably would have still supplemented a little bit to make up for the deficiency in the soils that her father, my grandfather, didn't have to. Her son, your speaker tonight, doesn't eat a lot of carrots. I like them, I just don't take the time to eat them. But if I did, I would probably get maybe half the beta-carotene that my mom got, and she was getting probably less than half of what her father got. So I will say this to you. Here's my adage. I believe that my grandfather could have eaten well and never supplemented and lived a healthy life, and he did. I believe my mom could eat well, but would still have to supplement to make up for the deficiencies. And I believe you and I, we have to supplement first, and then hope we get something from our food. But do not leave it up to the food. That is not where you're going to get that from. We know that health is much more than just the absence of disease. Let's look at some truth versus myth. The myth is that the food supply is sufficient to give you all the concentrated essential minerals that you need. That is not true. I touched on this earlier, but over the last 50 years, we've seen a tremendous, a precipitous, word I learned in college, I like to use it, decline in the vitamin and nutrient content of freshly farmed food. We know that's true. We know that foods are not, they're not, in order for us to get ripe produce at the store, it can't be picked at the peak of its ripeness. Bananas are picked green, so that by the time they get to you, they turn yellow. If you pick them yellow, by the time they get to you, they'll be brown. But our banana that's green isn't full of all its nutrients yet. It hasn't fully ripened. Most oranges are picked green. They're packed in special railroad cars. When they get to their destination city, they gas them with a type of gas that turns them orange. Which is why if you've ever seen, sometimes you see oranges with a green spot, because that was touching, pressed against another orange, and the gas couldn't get to it as much. Right? Now I'm not saying that's bad, I'm saying it's just not as healthy. It's not the same as going out in your backyard, which I just realized some of you probably can, and pick an orange. You can't do that in Philadelphia, right? And eating a fresh, ripe orange. The average American consumes a healthy diet. Is that true? No. Not even remotely close. In fact, over 90% of individuals under the age of 30 and 75% over the age of 30 do not meet the basic USDA recommendations for vegetable intake. By the way, let's cover for a quick second what the our USRDA is. The recommended daily allowance of vitamins and mineral supplements is not for optimal health. It's for not dead. You understand that, right? It's to keep you alive, not for optimal health. So the USRDA says, well, you should have 1,000 milligrams of XYZ. That's so you don't die. You don't get scurvy or rickets. And you almost have to be a pilot to get either one of those anymore. But here's the bottom line. Maybe you should take more. And you're going to hear me say it many, many times tonight. I've taken at least 2 doses of OPC every single day for the last 20 years. Some days I take more than 2 doses. Why? For a couple of reasons. One is my allergies might be bothering me a little bit more. The pollen count might be higher. But most importantly, more BV. right? So try to make a lot of stuff. All right. I don't need to supplement if you're a man or a woman. I don't need to supplement when I age or when I have aches and pains. That's the reactive way to think about your health, not the proactive way. Right? The proactive way is to do something about it now. Dr. Stephen Lamb, many of you know him because he speaks on behalf of our company. He's one of our medical advisors, but he's also the doctor that speaks on The View all the time. Right? Now, I've never seen The View. I've never seen it, right? But what he says is interesting. He says the man that has a heart attack today wasn't healthy yesterday. He just wasn't symptomatic. Right? So you can't wait for the MI. You can't wait for the heart attack to then start taking care of your heart. You have to be proactive, not reactive. Does that make some sense? My father, I remember my father clearly saying to me that vitamins were nothing more. Now this was long before I ever got involved in this company, before I partnered with Market America. I remember my father smoked 2.5 packs of Camel cigarettes a day. No filter, because that would take some of the goodness out of it. My dad, by the way, let me give you a little side note about my dad. My dad quit high school when he was 17, lied about his age, joined the Navy. He wanted to serve his country. Got his GED when he was 40 years old. When his firstborn got accepted to college, it was the proudest day of his life. And I remember talking to my dad about quitting smoking. He had none of that. Right? He had none of that. I remember my dad, my mom, they ate meat and potatoes every night. We never had vegetables. Right? It would be an accident. How'd they get on his plate? Maybe my mom would apologize. And I remember asking my dad, and I was saying, Dad, if you're going to smoke, why don't you at least take a multivitamin? I didn't know anything about vitamins. I just wanted my dad to be healthy. And I remember my dad saying to me, vitamins are nothing more than expensive urine. That's how he felt. At age 57, my father had his fourth and final heart attack, put him in the ground. I was 25 years old when my dad passed away. I'm the oldest of 5. My youngest sister, Nancy, was 12. Now, I don't know that vitamins would have helped, but I'll tell you my theory on that. I'm going to take them, and I'd rather take them and find out they didn't help at all than not take them and find out they would have made a difference. Is that a fair deal? It's really important that you understand that. So you've got to be proactive. Nothing in nature acts in isolation. Nothing in nature acts in isolation. Meaning, optimal metabolism is diminished if you take calcium but don't take vitamin D with K2 or magnesium. Everything is kind of interlocked. Now, I love that because why? More feeding, right? I literally am sitting next to a guy on the airplane today, and he says, so what vitamins do you take? And I said, this flight ain't long enough. And it was a 6-hour flight. And I said, well, I wake up in the morning, I take a multi, and I started going through the list. And sometimes I can't believe how much stuff I take. You need to be full-time in Market America just so you have time to take your vitamins. You can't afford a job because you need to be taking vitamins 24/7. We all know we should exercise. We all know we should avoid carbohydrates, saturated fats. But most of us don't do it. According to the Center for Disease Control, more than half of the United States population does not get enough exercise. I know there's some people in this room that run marathons. I know there's people in this room that are incredibly healthy. But the truth is, most people would just as soon sit on the couch after they eat their meal. And we'll get into that when we cover NutriCleanse later, okay? We'll talk about that in a little bit. Why should you supplement, compensate for the less than adequate lifestyle, demands of nutrient reduction induced by age, and obviously the quality of your life? You've got a supplement to take advantage of that. But not all supplements are created equal. If you're a guest here tonight or a relatively new business partner, you may not be very familiar with Isotonix, how it works, why it works, why we're so excited about it. And we'll cover that tonight in detail so you can understand that. But we want to make sure that you get more bioavailability. We want to make sure that if you're paying for 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, that you're getting close to 1,000 milligrams available, not 200, 250, or 300. How many people in the room are in optimal health? Correct. Nobody. We don't know. But if you were in optimal health and you took a capsule, tablet, or pill, science tells tells us, best case scenario, that you would absorb you have bioavailability of about 25, maybe if you're lucky, 30%. Meaning if you paid for 1,000 milligrams of vitamin X, Y, Z, and you ingested that, you only have access to 250 or 300 milligrams. Whereas if you took Isotonix Vitamin X, Y, Z, and if you're new, there's no such thing as vitamin X, Y, Z, I'm making that up as a point, okay? But if you took 1,000 milligrams of vitamin X, Y, Z, 950 milligrams would be bioavailable. Let's cover a little side note here. Did I say absorbed? I did not. I said bioavailable. We have no idea how much each one of us absorbs for two reasons. Everyone's physiology is different. Daniel's is different than mine, right? Plus, my nutrient needs are different than his nutrient needs day to day. One day I might need more magnesium. One day he might need more bromelain. The next day I might need more vitamin C. He needs more vitamin D. We take extra, right, so that our bodies get everything they need and get rid of what they don't need. You will still excrete vitamins when you take ours. When one of your customers says, well, I went to the bathroom after I took my vitamins and I can tell because it was fluorescent green, that's my vitamins. Well, that's because your body didn't need it, as opposed to hope to get it and couldn't find it. It's a very, very big difference, okay? By the way, according to John Jacob Cannell, medical doctor and founder of the non-profit Vitamin D Council, this is interesting. Current research indicates that vitamin D deficiency plays a role in causing 17 varieties of cancer, as well as disease, stroke, hypertension, autoimmune disease, diabetes, depression, chronic renal stress, personal, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell you, I don't know that we're going to cover vitamin D tonight, but I don't know that I've ever been more excited about a product than our vitamin D. Now, I'm going to say that about every single product we have that I cover tonight. I'm excited about all of them. I'm even excited about the feminine, and I'll get to that later, okay? Let's talk about the Isotonix advantage. Most of you have seen this graphic. This graphic is for our customers, or our new distributors, our business partners, that explains how when you take a capsule, tablet, or pill on an empty stomach, and most people who take a capsule, tablet, or pill don't take it on an empty stomach. Why? You get burnt back. If you take a vitamin, 20 minutes later you're like, man, did I eat a cup of dirt? Right? That's the worst burp ever. So, you drink some coffee, you eat a piece of toast, or you, God forbid, stop at Jack in the Box or McDonald's and a couple of Egg McMuffins, a couple of McGriddles, maybe a few hash browns. We all have our own vices, don't judge. Here's the bottom line. If you take it on an empty stomach, that valve, there's a valve that separates your stomach from your small intestine, called the Dwyer valve. It's like a sphincter muscle. It doesn't open and leak in, it shoots, it excretes stuff into your small intestine. If you take your pill, capsule, or tablet on an empty stomach after about 45 minutes, after it's gone through a digestive process, some of the product is degraded. That slurry, if you will, that mixture is then secreted into your small intestine. Your small intestine is a tube. The inside the lumen is waves, hills. It's crinkled, if you will. Hey, like that hose that expands that you see on TV all the time, right? And the inside of it has all these little microvilli, hairs on them. Those microvilli are what touches the different product and allows it to be absorbed. When you take a vitamin, it has to be digested. Some of those hairs get digestive juices, some of them get vitamins. So the process is diminished. If you eat some toast, some coffee, and an Egg McMuffin, now it goes from 40 minutes to 3 to 4 hours. When I'm talking to someone about multivitamins, here's a little fact for you, a little factoid. 87% of the United States adult population takes a multivitamin. If you ask someone if they take a multivitamin, 8.7 out of 10 say yes. If you ask them why, they will say one of two things. My wife told me to, right? Or I wanted to. Here's the next question. You say to them, let me ask you a question. Daniel, when you take that multivitamin, do you feel a difference? And almost all of them say, no, not really. Now here's your sales close. Then you're taking the wrong multivitamin. Because when I take mine, how many people felt the difference the first time they took Isotonix? Right now, don't be hand up because you want to be popular, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I took the stuff and I was like, man, I felt like maybe I was growing hair. I wasn't. If you take Isotonix, that valve doesn't need to close. Now, here's how you're supposed to take Isotonix. You ready? You're supposed to take, this is the company line, you're supposed to take no more than 4 doses at a time with room temperature water. You take 4 doses, you wait 10 or 15 minutes, then you take the next 4 doses. I take about, 13, 14, 15, depends on the day, the month, the week, of what I take in vitamins. Sometimes I'm adding more stuff and less stuff. I'm going to tell you the rule, and I'm going to tell you the reality. Everybody with me?
Yes,
The rule is, for maximum bioavailability, you want to take no more than 4 doses with room temperature water, first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, before you put anything else in your mouth, before you brush your teeth, before you eat anything, before you put your fingers or anyone else's fingers in your mouth. Maybe you have a little fun time in the morning, I don't know, but here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line. That's not what I do. I have what's called ADD, ADHD, DHD, I want to write by it's D. ADD. Now my father cured my ADD when I was a teenager with what he called the Big 5 therapy. And it was so successful that when he hit me, it cured my brother. He sat down too. Okay? But the government frowns upon that now. So I am here to tell you that Betsy, if it was up to me, to take 4 doses with room temperature water, then wait 15 minutes and come back. And what was I doing? I'll never take the second 4 or the third 4. So I take 1 big cocktail in the morning with cold water. I like it better with cold water. I am diminishing the isotonic capability of the product. Let me ask you a math question. What's better, some or none? Some. That's sharp fruit, right? Yeah, so if I only get 80% bioavailability, that's still better than the 20 I wasn't getting from the capsule tablet of pill I used to forget to take. So I take mine, 1 big jug in the morning, cold water, drink it down. I don't chug it down. I drink it over the course of a half an hour. Don't mix your isotonics the night before. Like a can of soda, they will go flat. They'll lose their isotonicity. Oh, we got some fancy cheers. Now, is there Brian through? No, it's like a Greek wedding. All right, here we go. Same thing. This slide says the exact same thing as we said before. This is an x-ray, a lower GI x-ray, of a patient that has taken a Centrum vitamin. You know someone who works in a geriatric ward at a hospital, and you ask them what bedpan bullets are. They will giggle, and they will tell you that's what we call vitamins, tablets, that are in the bedpans that we change. This x-ray shows, by the way, you have technically 3 really 4 parts to your large intestine. You have the ascending up your right side, the transverse goes across, the descending, which is attached then to your sigmoid, which attaches really your large intestine to your anus. Here's how this works. This is a picture of a Centrum Silver. By the way, Centrum Silvers are designed to dissolve quicker than a regular Centrum. Didn't work out so well here. Here it is right here. This was taken the day of the x-ray. By the way, that typically would take about 6 hours to work its way to the beginning of the ascending colon. Here's the one that's in the transverse colon that was taken the day before, and here is the descending colon. Here's the one that's in the rectum, in the sigmoid, ready to be expelled, that was taken 2 days before. Capsules, tablets, and pills don't work very well. You can get nurses, if they trust you, and they'll tell you that there are times that they can actually read the names are still on the capsule, tablet, and pill. And I know what you're thinking. What kind of sick person would read pills in the bedpan? I'm telling you, the state of healthcare is not good, okay? Now, to be fair, I took an x-ray of my lower GI, and this is what we found, okay? Yeah, it's terrible. It's not good. It's not good. Actually, this is actually what you would find if you x-rayed most market Americans. We'll give you a couple of tickets here and there, okay? All right, 7 key advantages to isotonic. These are important for you to know and to tell your customers about. Isotonic's advantage number 1, that the nutrients are not exposed to an acidic environment, the digestive process, of the stomach where they would otherwise degrade. Therefore, the customer's money is not wasted. Number 2, the carbon dioxide created, the effervescence of the product, actually helps to cleanse those microvilli that exist in your small intestine. I'm going to use a non-medical term and say, in essence, those little scrubby bubbles, kind of exfoliate the junk that's on your microvilli. See, if you eat a ton of gluten, it starts to cake up on those microvilli. And if you have a gluten sensitivity or any other sensitivity, those microvilli hairs, they can swell up. Now, I really can't make my fingers swell up, but I can approximate it by getting them closer together. If they swell up, see how much surface area there is between each one of these hairs now? Yeah. If they swell up, there's not as much surface area. If this continues prolonged, they start to blunt. That's where malnutrition becomes an issue regardless of what you eat. We can fix this, we can't fix this. Right? So we've got to make sure we get to your digestive tract early. Number 3, the favorable concentration gradient for absorption of some nutrients. A classic example is calcium and magnesium. You can buy a calcium supplement incredibly inexpensively at Costco. I love Costco, by the way. At Vitamin Shop, at Walmart. But your body, there are 5 types of calcium, and your body needs all 5 types, not a lot of one. The most abundant calcium form is ground up bone meal or seashells, like a bicarbonate, calcium bicarbonate. And quite frankly, it's awfully inexpensive to harvest. So they're able to sell you the tablets, and calcium tablets are usually the size of your thumb. Right? You're like, oh, I don't want to take that, right? The bottom line is this. We're going to cover the calcium paradox in a few seconds. How is it possible that we can take calcium supplementation and or drink as much milk and dairy as we do in this country and still have the highest rate of osteoporosis in the world? Something doesn't add up there. Well, maybe it's not just calcium. Maybe you're not getting the quantities of magnesium, boron, and potassium at the receptor site at the same time. I am so proud of Market America's calcium product. Our calcium has 5 types of calcium in it. It's got boron, magnesium, and potassium in the right amount, the right concentration gradient. So that when the calcium gets to the receptor site, see, you've been taking calcium your whole life, and your body's been going, oh man, thank God, I got some calcium. What? No magnesium? No. No potassium? Great. I can't do anything with all the calcium. I need some magnesium and potassium and boron. No boron, none. Now all of a sudden you take our product. Does anybody know what our calcium, it's a large bottle. Now we don't have small or large. We have trial and value size. Would you like the trial size or the value size? The value size allows you to save over $15 on each bottle, right? Much more better chance. But our large value size calcium, which is technically a 45-day supply, it's 90 doses, but you can take 2 a day. Calcium is best taken at night when your body's at rest, okay? And ladies, you have to take it. Newsflash, you make babies, right? So you leach calcium out of your system, right? So the bottom line is, you need to take calcium. We sell a calcium product that has all 5 types with boron, magnesium, potassium at the receptor site when it's needed in the right amount for under $20 for 45-day supply. It's ridiculously inexpensive and incredibly good for your body. Number 4 is the optimal delivery system. It works with, not against, your body's normal physiology. Here's the thing about our bodies, much like men, are basically lazy. Right? We'd rather look for an hour for the remote than get up and actually change the TV channel ourselves. So here's the bottom line. Your body wants the nutrients, but it doesn't really have to want to work to get them. It will, but it doesn't want to. This will be a recurring theme throughout the night as I explain to you that every single opportunity that Market America has to take the synthesized version, like methylated bees, we use that instead of non-methylated bees because 20% of the population can't methylate bees. So if you don't give the methylated bees, anyone like me ever drink a B vitamin and not get any energy from it? Because they're not methylated and you can't methylate them. You have that genetic, if you took a gene snip, you'd have the genetic variation on your gastric, right? They would tell you basically that you don't methylate bees. So if that's the case, you have to take the methylated. And Market America always chooses that. Number 5, they do not contain fillers, binders, like talc. Binders, by the way, is a nice way of saying glue. They put the word glue on the bottle, you might go, oh, this one has glue. Right? I don't think I want glue. That sounds like it might cause constipation. No soy, no wheat, no dairy. These are vegan, vegetarian products. And it's science-based, not junk-based. What do you mean by that? You go into the vitamin shop, you can see on TV all kinds of claims. Does this, does that. right? They just try to sensationalize it. You got to take this product, it's got chondroitin with it, MSM with chondroitin, right? Well, you should take glucosamine and chondroitin separately. You should never take them together, but they don't tell you that. Here's the basic deal when it comes to composition. There are two things in a product, our product. One is the active ingredients. That's whatever we're talking about. For OPC3, it's the big pycnogenol, the bilberry, right? It's the oligomeric-salmons that are in that product. But the base ingredients are pretty much the same for all of them. Slight variation. I want to cover this because you're going to have people who are going to say to you, well, why does it have sugar in it? Any scientists in the room? Just one or two? Okay, here's the thing. There are only two ways that you can make a product isotonic. You can add sugar or you can add salt. That's it. That's how your body works. Whether it's hypo or hyper, right? Depends on the osmolarity of your body's salt and sugar content. How many people currently take our isotonic vitamins? Raise your hand nice and high. Please put it up, leave it up. Now, leave your hand up if you would still take them if it was salt-based. Somebody's one or two freaks in the room. But nobody gets up in the morning and says, you know what I could go for? A big swig of the Dead Sea. Let's get that on, right? Nobody. The reason we use sugar is because MarketAmericaShop.com is not a health and nutrition company. We are a marketing company. We like to sell stuff. People tend to buy stuff they like, not stuff they hate. You understand that, right? We're not a health and nutrition company. We have exceptional health and nutrition products. We're a marketing company. And marketing dictates that we make them sugar-based, not salt-based. So let's address that. My mom's a diabetic. Fructose and glucose, when taken together, blunt each other on the glycemic index. Now, you don't need to understand all this. What you need to know is that when you put them together, they rate a 20 out of 100 on the glycemic index. The diabetic exchange, and if you don't know what that is, don't worry. Everybody in the room who's a diabetic or has a parent who is knows what diabetic exchange is. It basically means what your equivalent of sugar is. For instance, my mom's doctor has told my mom, because of her diabetes, that she's allowed to have a handful of grapes. Everybody understand what I just said? Mm-hmm. When I go home and visit, every once in a while I'll see my mom holding like a whole vine of grapes. And I'll say, Mom, that's not what Dr. B meant when he said you can have a handful of grapes. To which she says, you weren't there, you don't know what he said. A dose of our isotonics is equivalent roughly to about 1 to 1.5 grapes. So if someone who's diabetic says, I can't take this because it has sugar in it, by the way, these are simple sugars. Your body knows exactly what to do with fructose and glucose. It does not know what to do with fruit. No one becomes diabetic from overexposure to fruit. You become diabetic from drinking sugar or sodas at an early age to help you fit in those all 15 years. Okay? It's refined sugars that create havoc in our bodies that make a glycemic spike and an insulin response. So don't worry about this. If someone says, I can't take it, say to them, well, the diabetic equivalent exchange is 1 to 1.5 grapes. So 2 doses of OPC would be equivalent to 3 grapes. Are you allowed to take 3 grapes? Oh yeah, I'm allowed to have 12 grapes. Great, then you can have 4 doses of isotonics. Everybody understand that? So you understand exactly what's going on there. Number 6, it offers an alternative to pills. Surveys show that 40% of American adults have difficulty swallowing pills. I used to be one of those people. I don't know what it is about me. Like, I could eat a hamburger in 4 bites. I can't get a pill down. No, you're not. No, you're not. Here's why you do that. Most people who take capsule tablets and pills and have trouble with it take them the wrong way. They take a handful of pills, whether that's 1 or 6, whatever it is. They put it in their mouth. They take a big gulp of water. They tilt their head back, which floats the vitamins to the top of the water. That's what it does. You open your throat, evacuate the water, the pills get stuck in the back of your mouth, and you say you're choking. No, you're just not very good at drinking. Here's how if that's your issue, here's what you should do. You should take those pills, put them in your mouth, take a bottle of water, fix the bottle to your mouth, tilt your head back, and drink the water so it pushes the pills down your throat. Or do what I do. I make believe I'm eating a cheeseburger, and they just go right down. Okay? By the way, how come some of our products are in pill or capsule form? Because not everything can be made isotonic. Science prohibits omega-3s being made into a water-soluble vitamin, right? So you understand that. They can't be dispersed in a water solution. Whether fat or water-soluble, they're relevant. We have ADKs or fat solubles. We have those in isotonic form. But there are certain products that either are best suited in a non-isotonic form, or you want what's called gastric drag to happen, meaning that they are broken down over a period of time throughout the process. And we'll talk about that when we get to probiotics here. We're going to be here till about 2 a.m., just so you know. I got a lot to cover. So, last but not least, number 7, people with stomach, esophageal challenge. People who've had gastric bypass surgery, laparoscopic banding, Reuben Y. People like that cannot take capsule tablets and pills. Heck, they can't even have seeds. They can't eat raspberry. So they need liquid vitamins. When I first started my Market America career, I used to speak to a support group of people, Kathy, that had gastric bypass surgery. I went to the local hospital. I asked for the number of the local support group for the gastric bypass patients. They gave it to me. I called up the chairperson for the gastric bypass support group. I said, I'd like to come and do a presentation to your group. They, you know what they said? We'd love that. We're bored to death of looking at each other. I went in, wherever they met in like a church basement. I went there. I talked to about 15 or 20 people about the importance of nutrients through Isotonix. About a dozen customers that day. One of them went right back to the hospital, told the doctor to call me, that I should be doing it right. I mean, it's not that hard to do if you think about the places, okay? All right. Exceptional manufacturing quality, just so you know, our product brokerage firm works with experts in the field. Our manufacturers demand high quality and meet the standards set forth by the GMP, the CRN, that's the Council for Responsible Nutrition, the USP, United States Pharmacopoeia, TG, which is up in Canada. By the way, the CRN is the big one on the block right there. We meet all those requirements. Our products are all made in good manufacturing practice facilities, GMP facilities. So you don't have to worry that they're being made in JR's basement. Marty and Lori. All right, don't worry about that. All right, in conclusion, we offer a product line that gives customers a wide solution of nutrient combinations with the advantage of isotonic delivery. Any questions about isotonics in general? Good. First thing I want to talk about is antioxidants. What are they? Well, they're chemicals that scavenge or neutralize free radicals. What are free radicals? Free radicals are things in the environment that cause iron to rust. You see rust on a piece of metal, that's free radical damage. If you've ever bitten into an apple, put it down, went to go take care of the kids, or answer the phone, come back and it's turning brown, that's free radical damage. You cannot avoid it. The process of breathing creates free radicals. I highly recommend that you continue breathing. The key, okay? But our bodies know how to handle free radicals from just our breathing, metabolism. What they don't know how to do is handle the ones that are coming out of this carpet, out of these lights, out of the exhaust. If you live in California, where there's a lot of fog, it seems like, right? Smog, things like that. Generally, they're able to donate electrons to stabilize what's called a free radical cascade. Without going into the long dissertation of free radical cascades, just understand that if you have excess exposure to free radical damage, it can start to create issues, non-reparative issues. When it gets to the DNA level, we've got challenges on our hands, okay? All we're looking to do is get compounds into your body that have 3 electrons, so that if someone comes along, see, here's the thing, most electrons like to exist paired. When they're paired, they're calm. But if they're a free radical, one by itself, they want to take one away. When this one takes this one away, it leaves one over here. Now this one's calm, but this one says, oh, I'm taking one from him. Now he takes one, and that goes on hundreds of millions of times in your body. But what if we were able to put a 3 together? So that when this guy came along and took one, it left 2 calm ones. That's all we're doing in stopping a free radical cascade. You don't have to get super scientific. That's enough of an explanation for most people. And by the way, while I'm on that topic, When you get a customer that says to you, well, I'm going to need to know all the ingredients and where they're sourced from and how they're made, hold on. I just watched you eat a Big Mac. You have no idea what's in that. All right? So don't get caught up in the minutia. Market America is not in the business of convincing someone. What's your name, sir? We're not in the business of convincing Eric that he should take vitamins. Understand what I just said? We're in the business of finding the Erics that already do take vitamins and giving them more value for their money. Better health, better patient outcomes. That's what we do. We're not trying to put someone in a headlock and convince them they should take vitamins. If you meet someone who says, I don't believe in vitamins, say, good day. I said good day, sir. That's it. Go away. Why would you spend your time trying to convince that guy that he should take vitamins when there's 10 other people right down the street who already take vitamins and would like better ones? Right? Please understand that. I do meet people, especially brand new business partners, who get hung up because their neighbor, their father, won't take vitamins. You can't worry about that. You got to move on. You got to help the people you can help. Here's a great little chart. Free radical damage comes from a lot of different places. Heck, I flew on an airplane today, which means I got more of this than you did at ground level. At 36,000 feet, you get more radiation. Right? If you smoke, please don't. But if you do, and if you do, you're disgusting. But if you do, you're creating more free radical damage. If I live in the Northeast, now where I live is very nice. But if you go like to the real heart of the Northeast, where they've had heavy industry for 100 years. Anyone ever been to Boulder, Colorado? Anyone? Boulder, Colorado. Ever heard of it? I'll show you a picture. It's beautiful. God's country, the mountain ski country where you can ski. I go every year to ski. First year I went to Boulder. First year. I got out of the car, and I went like this way. What's that smell? And the guy that was there said, what smell? I said, that smell, it smells sweet. He goes, that's our air. Oh, you got good air. That's not the air. By the time the air gets to us, it's more of a, it's not a good, you don't like it. It's not good air. So if you've got this by your house, you're getting free radical damage. If you have a lot of inflammation, if you're alive, if you go out in the sun, if you work outside while smoking at a radioactive plant, you should bathe in OPC. These infographics are available to you on unfranchise.com. These are great handouts or pieces to send to your customers. Okay? These are on unfranchise.com. I love how everybody takes pictures. You can get them, they're free. Okay? It tells you all about Pycnogenol. What you need to know is that Market America is the exclusive worldwide provider of Pycnogenol and French maritime pine bark Pycnogenol in Isotonix form. You cannot get it anywhere else. Cannot get it anywhere else. I love the exclusivity. I like to know that if you like it, you got to come to us to get it, okay? It's the gold standard for antioxidants. Now I'm going to fly through these. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. It's not that I don't think we should. It's that most people are already taking in love OPC. And I got a lot of new stuff to get to. So I want to just real quick go through this and tell you that these products are phenomenal. The grapeseed extract, the red wine extract, it's the grape seed is the actual pith, the seed. When we say red wine, this is, unfortunately, this is a non-alcoholic product. Unfortunately, if I go with alcohol, right? Right? It's the extract from the skin, the red grape seed skin. Bilberry and citrus flavonoids, okay? We are the worldwide clinical distributor of this particular product. It's phenomenal. It's got great cardiovascular properties. In short, what OPC does is make your blood healthier so that everything else can work better. There is only one counterindication to OPC3, and that is blood thinners, warfarin, Coumadin, things like that. If you're currently taking a blood thinner and you want to take OPC, we ask you to consult your physician. By the way, we are not against doctors. We work in conjunction with doctors. They are not the enemy. Every once in a while, we meet somebody and say, we got to trust these doctors. No. First of all, no. Second of all, no. Right? Doctors are doing what they've been trained to do. It's our job to help educate them, and many of them are very, very receptive to having a holistic implementation in their practice. You want pharmaceuticals if you need them, believe me. This is the best country in the world to have a heart attack in. If you have a heart attack here, your chances of surviving are much higher than almost any other country. Unfortunately, living here is also the best way to get a heart attack. So we got that going for us. All right. We're going through. I don't care. You don't need to know all this. This is interesting. Corporate America commissioned a scientific study. We took our OPC, not OPC, our OPC. And we had them make it into a capsule, tablet. Everybody understand what I just said? We didn't go buy one off the shelf when someone was, we made one. We had a company take our OPC3 and make it into a tablet. It's the same OPC. When taken in tablet form in the first 10 minutes, 0 absorption. Remember I said you take your vitamins and you felt the difference? This is why. Boom, right off the chart, the Isotonix Core outperforms consistently throughout the entire bell curve. Not only does it take 20 minutes to get any, but in that 20 minutes, this one is well on its way to changing your body's chemical makeup, right? Enhancing what you're able to do with your body all the way through. Now, OPC has about a 72-hour half-life. So if someone's going to have major surgery, they should probably cycle up of OPC at least 72 hours before that surgery. Otherwise, they may have challenges clotting blood. You need to let your doctor know that you're on a nutraceutical that has similar properties. By the way, if you're currently taking a blood thinner like warfarin or Coumadin, we believe that if you take OPC regularly, you'll be able to reduce the amount of that pharmaceutical that you need. However, consult your physician. Do not self-medicate. Don't say, he just said I can stop taking my blood thinner. I'll just think, I did not say that. That record is hundreds of them years. All right. I like this chart. People say, well, if I take OPC, why do I have to take resveratrol? More BV. I didn't understand the question. But, since I want to give you an actual answer, here it is. All of these, ORAC, resveratrol, and OPC, are all antioxidants. You know, it's funny, I was just thinking this. The example that I'll use at home is I'll say to the crowd, imagine you're in a snowball fight. But I realize that you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But in a snowball fight, if I gave you the choice of using as a shield, right, to protect yourself from the other snowballs, the lid to a soft drink or the lid to a garbage can cover, you'd probably take the garbage can cover because you can block more snowballs. Well, all of these, OPC, resveratrol, and ORAC, are very good antioxidants, and all of them benefit your heart. They overlap in a lot of areas. But OPC3 is really good for the skin, which is why our beauty blend has a higher level of pink nodule in it. Okay, phenomenal product. Resveratrol has been shown to help with obesity, longevity, and diabetes. And ORAC is really good at the small capillaries that you find in your eyes, your ears, your kidneys. Now, I would suggest you take all of them. I do. I want to be proactive, not reactive, and I want more BV. Very good. More BV. Any questions on antioxidants? Okay, great. Let's go on to vitamin D with K2. Absolutely love this product. I think this, next to our calcium, may be the best product we offer, Kathy, in terms of price and quality. This is a phenomenal product. Vitamin D is in the news. It is in the news. You can't even turn Dr. Oz. Everybody's talking about vitamin D. More than 1 billion, with a B, people worldwide do not consume adequate amounts of vitamin D. More than 50% of postmenopausal women taking medication for osteoporosis have suboptimal levels of vitamin D. And without adequate vitamin D, only 10 to 15% of dietary calcium is absorbed. We have something in this country, I mentioned it earlier, called the calcium paradox. We ingest more dairy than any other country in the world. We're number one. Not even close, by the way. We are winning by a landslide. Yet we still have the highest rate of osteoporosis, osteopenia, which are basically calcium deficiency diseases. That doesn't compute. How is it possible that we can take all that milk that David Beckham says is good for us, yet still have a calcium deficiency disease? Either we're not getting calcium from the dairy, and we're not, right? Or we're not getting whatever else the calcium needs. Turns out it needs boron, magnesium, potassium, but it also needs some vitamin D. It's very interesting what vitamin D does. It promotes the proper synthesis and functioning of important proteins essential to proper calcium utilization, supports maintenance of bones, immune health, cardiovascular health, and blood pressure. You can get good vitamin D from dietary sources, like sardines, mackerel, tuna, salmon, fortified milk. I don't know about anybody in this room, but after I work out or out in the yard doing a full day's work, nothing goes down better than a sardine, salmon, tuna, mackerel smoothie. Oh, that's good.
What do you mean smoothie?
Listen, I love salmon. Love it. I love eating a piece of salmon. I'll order it often when I go out. It's my go-to. Love it. As long as it's fresh, I'll ask the wild caught, not farm-raised, blah, blah, blah. That's the back of the fish, the farm-raised one, right? I'm not getting into that. I'm just saying, if it's a good... The reason salmon's pink is astaxanthin. We'll tell you that in a minute. We'll get to that at around 2:30. People don't need enough of this. And kids certainly don't need any of it. Okay? Why vitamin K2? Well, it turns out that it helps promote calcium absorption, healthy arteries. It's the active form of K. There's K1 and K2. And women with low bone density have been found to be deficient in vitamin K. Vitamin K needs to be synthesized in your liver. If you go to your doctor, and this is how we ask our doctor, we don't hide our vitamins for our doctor, we take the cap, we take the bottle, or the label, and we say to our doctor, Doctor, I'd like to take this, will it hurt me? You understand what I just said? If you say to your doctor, should I take this? His answer, her answer now falls under their malpractice insurance. They're not interested in putting anything else under their malpractice insurance. It's already cost them too much and it's stretched too thin. But if you say to them, I want to take this, will it hurt me? They'll look at the ingredients and go, no, it's not going to hurt you. There's nothing in here, James, that can hurt you. I don't think it'll help you, but it can't hurt you. But it's your money, do what you want. And in your case, fully smoked. It's a lot of money, so do whatever you want, right? Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is, case in point, most doctors over the age of 40 years old had less than a half a semester of nutritional training when they went to medical school. Some of them had less than an hour, depending on the college they went to, right? Graduate work they did. Now think about this for a second. You're going into a doctor who's been told his whole life that vitamin K needs to be synthesized in the liver. Now if you're on a statin and they're monitoring your liver enzymes, which if you were on a statin, you already know that every 30, 60, 90 days they want to check your liver enzymes so they can rotate you off statin so they don't degrade your liver. And you say to your doctor, Doctor, I'd like to take this. Will it hurt me? And he sees vitamin K. If he doesn't know any better, he might say to you, you can't take this. You're on a statin. It's got vitamin K in it. Now you and I know, at least I know, and you'll know in a minute when I get done, that vitamin K2 doesn't need to be absorbed and transferred in the liver. It goes directly to the bones, to the receptor sites. It's already synthesized. Follow me? That's why we use K2, not K1. K1 is absorbed in the liver and could affect those liver enzymes. Now here's the best way to handle this with your doctor. When your doctor says, well, you can't take this because it's got vitamin K in it, I find the best way to handle it is to say to your doctor, what are you, stupid? They love that. They love it. They're like, I guess I am. Right? Get you a needle. Right? No, listen. Here's what you say. You say to your doctor, just like this. Doc, and you start shaking your head. And if you shake your head, people will mirror you. You say, Doc, I'm sure you're referring to vitamin K1, which everybody knows is synthesized in the liver. And even though your doctor may not know that, they'll start going, of course. This has vitamin K2, which I'm sure we both know doesn't affect the liver enzymes. To which the doctor will say, exactly, you didn't let me finish. Right? So everybody gets to be their ego in check. Everybody gets to be happy, and we get to learn together and be healthy together, okay? What? Most people are vitamin C deficient. They have limited sun exposure. We have done such a good job in this country of covering our children in SPF 500. They don't get sun anymore. When I was a kid, they had like SPF 1, 2, and 3. I'm a fair-skinned kid. I get burned from these lights here. I remember saying to my mom, Mom, I'm getting burnt. She said, play in the shade, stupid. Oh, okay, thank you. Good morning, Uncle, play in the shade, right? I have 3 sisters. I have 9 nieces and nephews, 5 of them I like. One of my sisters, the middle girl, has a set of quadruplets. She has 4 kids at once.
Oh my gosh. 4 kids at once.
My brother-in-law and my sister Judy tried to conceive for 7 years. They had no luck. They went and did in vitro. And they harvest 10 eggs, they implant, they fertilize 4 chicks. She kept 4, she has 4 healthy babies. They have 14 now. Now here's the best part of that story for me. Every time I see my brother-in-law, I get to say to him, you have 4 kids and nobody had sex. That's awesome. He's like, yeah, that's awesome. He's like, yeah, great. But here's the bottom line.
That's crazy.
3 of them have their father's genetic disposition. They are Italian. They've got the olive skin, the dark hair, the brown eyes. One of them has my side of the family, the Irish-German side, which is fair-skinned. James is his name, not because of me. His father is James, I'm James, my dad was James, the other father's father was James, one of the other uncles was James, one of these kids is going to be James regardless. James is, I'm telling you, this kid is practically transparent. Like when you look at him, you're like, dude, I can see your organs eating.
Oh my God.
No color to him. Because of that, they have a beautiful in-ground pool. The other kids love the pool. James hates it. I asked him why he doesn't want to go in the pool. You know what he told me? Because my sister puts tons of SPF, because he burns so easily. And he hates getting slathered on. We've done such a good job with sunscreen that our kids are getting less vitamin D from the sun. There's got to be a happy medium in between. Got to get a little bit of sun, okay? And by the way, we store very little vitamin K in the body. Highly recommend that you take Isotonix Vitamin D with K2. It addresses the vitamin D deficiency and addresses that calcium paradox. Any questions about vitamin D? Anyone? Anyone? Right here, I'm sorry. All right, so his question is, what's the recommended daily intake? Your answer is always as prescribed on the bottle or consult your physician. But I recommend about a bottle a day. Or eating. Seriously, do not take a bottle a day. Unless you really feel like that's good, then you should. Okay? Alright. Let's talk for a couple of quick seconds about TLS Core. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on TLS. Right? This is our weight management system that we have. We have shake, we have bars, we have counseling, we have journaling, we have internet, we have interweb, we have all of it. But I like this Core product. Why? Because it addresses this low glycemic, high glycemic, yo-yo diet that people go through. These infomercial slides, these infographics are available on franchise.com. Feel free to download and use them. Excuse me. Obesity in this country is an epidemic. It's defined as a body mass index in excess of 30. Excuse me, it's an indicator of fatness. It's a measure of an adult's weight in relation to his or her specific height. The weight in kilograms divided by the square of his or her own height in meters. Don't worry about that. Just worry that in the last 20 years, we've seen a dramatic increase in body mass index. Over 68% of all Americans in this country are overweight. I do not consider myself obese. Some people are like, yes, you are. But I need to lose 10 pounds. Probably 15 if I'm honest. Right? I know that. But I'm in California, and you have what's called In-N-Out Burger here, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to get out of California without one of them. So we'll see. In 1990, that's not that long ago, black is no data reporting in. This tar heel blue right here is less than 10% body mass index. Okay? Less than 10%, 10 to 14%, 15, 20 to 19%, 20, 25, over 30 for body mass index. In 1990, not a single state in the Union has a body mass index increasing in excess of 15%. 10 years later, 10 years later, that is nothing. That goes by like that. 10 years later, we see a huge propensity, especially in the Deep South, for an excess of a 20% body mass index. I wish I could tell you that was just adults. It is not. Children as well. This becomes even more alarming. Only in 10 years after that, 2009, you have now look, only, I'm going to go with Colorado. Not northern Colorado, not western Colorado, not southern Colorado, or eastern Colorado. Just Colorado. Look, I know this. I left here and went, shh. Yeah. I did that today. Here it's very cold and snowy. Here, okay, so, look at this. The Deep South, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, all those, 30%. Unbelievable exponential growth in a 20-year time period. That's ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. See, energy in the form of food has been a precious commodity for 99% of our existence. Can you go back? What? Sure. How was that? Good? All right. We used to... We used to have to chase our food down. Our bodies were designed to store food because we didn't know when the next food was coming. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, we can get food out of a window anytime we want. We can pull up to a building, into a magic box, we pull up to a window, and someone in there goes, here's some food out of the window. You don't have to chase it down, you don't have to skin it, none of that stuff happens, right? You got to hunt, gather, and grow your own, very little sugar, no saturated fat, and they were high nutrient ratios. Modern foods have a high calorie nutrient and density to a very low nutrient density, right? The calories are high, but the value is low. We eat all this stuff, but we don't get any nutrients from it. Our bodies are designed to efficiently metabolize foods into energy and store that excess energy because we're still conditioned, our genome evolved on wondering if we were going to starve to death. So when we eat too much, our body saves it thinking we're not going to get any more. It hasn't made that adjustment, right? Fat is the most efficient storage medium. Unfortunately, with it comes all kinds of things you don't want. Not limited to, but cardiovascular disease and everything else. So what we want to do is use a product that's going to take what we used to have, which is a carb blocker and a fat blocker, and combine them together into one product that does both. This isn't listen, I think North America did this just because they realized you had too many pills to take. So they put two of them together. Thank God, right? It supports leptin sensitivity. That's what tells your body you're full. Satiety. It tells you to stop. Here's the thing. When you eat bad foods for you, if you're eating candy, sometimes you can eat a lot. You're like, I can eat a lot of this. But you can't eat 4 apples. Right? You eat an apple, your body goes, that's enough apple. Right? Because there's nutrients in apple. When you're eating baby root bars, your body's like, oh, you eat 4. But I'm eating 4 nutrients in. Right? You can't eat that many apples. It may help to promote appetite suppression, promote a feeling of fullness, and a reduction of body mass index. We know all these work. We know the product works. I love this product. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, other than to tell you that we did a study on Leptin, which is the active ingredient in this product. This study was done for 8 weeks and said that over the 8 weeks, the average loss of body fat was 14.4 pounds. Over 2 months. That's by the way, that's a very healthy rate. A pound or 2 a week is a healthy rate. 2-inch loss of both waist and hip. This blows me away. A 20% reduction in LDL. LDL is the bad cholesterol. The bad stuff. Which helps support cardiovascular. 16% reduction in the triglyceride level. That's phenomenal. 48% decrease in the leptin levels. 30% decrease in the C-reactive proteins. Major indicator for cardiovascular illness. 38% increase in serotonin levels. You lose weight, your body doesn't have to work as hard, you sleep better. Okay? 13% reduction in fasting glucose, which is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal product. There's a lot of ancillary products to take with it. If you haven't tried our core product as part of your weight management or weight loss regime, I highly recommend that you take the core product. By the way, I don't know whether you'll enjoy tonight or not. I don't know whether you'll learn anything or not. We'll find out. But the best way you can thank me is for James and Mary to call me later and say, by the way, Jim, the 2 weeks after you were here, we saw an increase in BV and products that people were trying that they hadn't taken before. People ordered the core, they hadn't tried it before, they got the vitamin D. And I know you take everything, but I want to make sure you try it. I mean, just try it. Is that a fair deal? That's how. No, I get it. You're a terrible speaker. All right. Any questions about core? All right, let's do one more. We'll do Bromelain and then we'll take a quick break. Is that a fair deal? Are we okay for another 5 minutes, maybe 10? Bromelain. Love this product. Love this product. Here's what I can tell you. One thought I have to tell you this. If you have inflammation in your body, and you all do, take Bromelain. It's really a good product, and it tastes really good too. May enhance recovery from injuries and surgeries, breaking down the fibrins that often lead to blood clots, assists in the breakdown of proteins formed during inflammation. Breaking those fibrins will also help eliminate tissue swelling. Helpful when proteins bind abnormally and need to be dissolved or broken down. We're talking like scar tissues and things like that. Improves other immune mechanisms by promoting efficiency of immune cells, the T helper cells. Why do we have to have enzymes? They get overlooked, but they're powerhouses. They help the body function properly. They do some of the heavy lifting that your body needs to do in order to trigger hormones and muscles and healthy metabolism. Without enzymes, food doesn't get broken down correctly, you become sluggish, or sometimes your metabolism stops altogether, and then cellular health becomes arrested, and we don't want that. We want to make sure that the prolytic enzymes in this product particularly work well to break down the different proteins. If you don't do this, your body ends up getting kind of clogged up and inflamed. This particular product, Bromelain, comes from the core of the pineapple. The very part of the pineapple that most people throw away turns out to be the healthiest part of the pineapple. Right? That's the way it works, right? Yes. Right? So the pineapple fruit stems, or mostly the stems, it's phenomenal, excellent if anyone has post-surgery, any kind of injury. If you twist an ankle and you get inflammation, take extra Bromelain. I don't know if it'll help your ankle, but you'll get more BV. I don't think you get another ankle. No. It'll help your ankle. I promise it'll help. I don't really know, but I promise it will. To make it easier for your immune system to detect unhealthy cells and then start with what's called apoptosis. Apoptosis is normal programmed cell death. We'll get to that a little bit when we cover a couple of other products, okay? We want to get rid of the unwanted cells. What happens is, every once in a while, you can get an unhealthy cell that'll hide itself. It puts itself in a disguise of a protein layer. And our body doesn't see protein as a bad thing. So the body goes, oh, that's okay, it's just protein. No, it's a bad guy with a mask. What happens is the Bromelain helps to dissolve. Remember those prolytic enzymes? Help to dissolve that protein. We take the mask off so that the white blood cells go, ha ha! There it is. Okay? That's what we're looking to do. All right, doesn't matter. Inflammation. We'll get rid of inflammation. We often see inflammation as arthritis, gout syndromes, right? Systemic lupus and things like that. If you have any kind of inflammation response in your body, even if you're just a weekend warrior that likes to work out in the yard and you're stiff the next day, great product for you. Maybe you played baseball, maybe you played softball, maybe you went running and you felt a little stiff from that. This is a great product for that, okay? All right. I think we're pretty good. It's got white willow bark in it. You don't need to know that. Don't worry about it. All right, very good.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can children take it?
Here's our answer. Our answer is, I'll be honest, consult your physician. However, I will tell you this. that my sister's kids, my sister who had the quadruplets, Judy, took our prenatals. Now, I will say this to you. She went 33 and a half weeks, which at the time was a record for her hospital. It's not anymore, but it was. I mean, and she was like, it looked like someone had driven in a Volkswagen into her and then abandoned her, right? So I was like, oh my God, right? Like the babies were knocking, like, let us out. They had already started talking and smoking before they came out. So here's the bottom line. Ultimately, that's a parent's decision, right? All of our products are going to be boilerplate stamped 18 and over, because that's what our insurance covers. You follow me? So we can't tell you how. Now I will tell you this: my sisters took our prenatals, took OPC, and put the kids with my assistants on OPC the day they were born. And we put it in their bottles. Now when you have 4 kids, often what you'll find is you'll have some respiratory issues, right? You'll have with preemies, asthma, things like that. We have 4 healthy kids. So I'm telling you that I can't prove to you that that was because of our products, but I think it was. It was. Right? So that's up to you. But I really would consult the physician. Now, here's the thing. I would tell you a physician's like a mechanic. And if you go to a mechanic and that mechanic treats you well, you're going to do, he explains to you what he's doing, he tells you why he's doing it, he says this you have to get done, this you should get done, this you might want to consider. If that's the kind of mechanic you want, not someone who forces you to do things. So if you go to a doctor, your doctor says, absolutely not, you don't have to go to that doctor. Find another doctor who's less ingrained in their way and more open to discussing options, right? I'm not saying that pharmaceutical intervention in certain cases isn't good. I'm just saying it should be the first choice, right? I know we're not talking about pharmaceutical intervention necessarily with kids, but there's nothing in this product. I don't know if legally I can say that. It is my belief that there's nothing in this product that would have counterindications for any children. However, to be safe, we'd ask you to consult a physician. Fair deal?
Yeah.
All right. All right, any questions about Bromelain? Anyone? Can kids take it? Sure.
Pregnant woman?
Excuse me? Pregnant women? I have nothing to do with that. I don't know what The answer, of course, is consult your physician. Okay? By the way, pregnancy is not necessarily inflammation. You realize that, right? All right, listen, it's 8:30. I'm going to say a 5-minute break. I know that means 10. No more than